Hey guys, John here from Ascension U. In today's training, we are going to break down our mindset, how to deconstruct your current mindset, how to understand your story, which is phase one of our 3-pillar system. So we're going to follow up with phase 2 and phase 3 in additional trainings, but today I want to give you all of the core frameworks and fundamentals that go into understanding your story. So if you're a person who is stuck right now, whether that's in their life, whether it's in their business, whether it's in their job, their career, and they're not quite sure what it is that's keeping them stuck, then this is going to be super helpful for you. One of my favorite quotes in self-development is from Carl Jung, which says, "Until we bring the unconscious to the conscious, it's going to continue to direct our life, and we're going to call it faith." All right, and this is the challenge that most people have. They have constructed certain narratives, they've conditioned themselves to operate and view life and view their business and view their relationships from a narrow frame of how they see the world. And what that does is it's taking you away from all of the opportunities, all of the potential that's actually out there for you because you have this limited frame. So we want to first understand our story so we know what it is to do to actually be able to change it. So I've broken it up into a couple of key points that I want to touch on, and there's a couple of key things that I will emphasize as we progress. So number one is knowing your story. And what I mean by knowing your story is, what are those patterns that are holding you back? What are those limiting beliefs? What are those limiting stories? What are those dysfunctional emotions or dysfunctional behaviors that you're experiencing on a daily basis that you know deep down are a problem for you, but you're not quite sure why, or you're not quite sure how to change it? Anyone who's watching this video self-sabotages themselves on a daily basis. And if you say, "I'm not that person," then this training probably isn't for you, because you're not ready to change. Because we all have parts of us that are not our best. We all have parts of us that sabotage in some form, and that's the shadow work that we need to do in order to be able to move past it. So it's our current mindset and how we see the world. What follows the word "I am" for you? And I'm sure there's a couple of things you have that are positive, but think about the ones that are a bit deeper rooted that wants to come to the surface, but maybe you suppress them because you say that doesn't sound right. Like, I'm a burden, I'm a problem for others, I'm not successful, I'm not a business owner. What are they for you? Because this identity that's just been shaped over and over, which is all it is really is a truth that you have told, or something that you believe to be true, that you have told yourself over and over with enough intensity and with a certain amount of emotion that your brain now believes this to be true about you. But the best part about that is we can change it, because it's just a story. It's not who you are, it's just how you've seen yourself up to this point in your life based off of your influences, your past expectations, your experiences that shaped a certain perspective of how you see the world. So we're looking at it from the perspective of dysfunctional patterns. So what are the dysfunctional patterns that show up for you? Now, for a lot of people, they'll be more aware of what we would like to call essentially the bottom part, right? And what I mean by the bottom part is everyone tries to change the behavior. Everyone tries to address their problems from a behavioral perspective. But the behavior is simply a manifestation of what's happening beneath the surface, right? It's if up here is operating in a certain way, you're going to behave in a certain way. And that is why if this is working, everything is working. If this is off, then typically most of the things we try are going to fail. We're always going to find a way to sabotage ourselves, take the back door when things get uncomfortable for us. So we need to actually be able to identify what are some of the thought patterns, some of the feelings that I have on a daily basis that don't serve me. And a simple way I like to look at it sometimes is just useful versus not useful, right? Like, you think about a belief. What's most important about the belief? Is it useful for me? And if it is, then reinforce that belief system, even if right now you don't think it's something to be true. Same with the thinking patterns that we have on a daily basis. And what you're going to start to notice is there's going to be certain loops that you have. And the more awareness you can bring to it, the more you're going to notice what these patterns are, which is going to help us increase choice over time. So we have our thoughts, we have our feelings. So say, for example, anxiety, stress, frustrated, envious, jealous, guilty, shameful. These are what we call like lower vibration emotions, right? Like they're the ones that typically people who are vibrating at the bottom suffer from. When you're stuck in that victim mindset, when you're stuck in that poor identity, in that fixed mindset that you just can't simply seem to get out of. And I bet you when I describe that to someone that comes to mind for you, it might even be someone on your team. And that is why we're here to try and help not just you unlock it, but also people who are in your circle or in your team. So you're just simply running these loops over and over and over again, and you're just constantly reinforcing them, making them stronger and stronger. But the first phase is to just get to understand this story. It's not about trying to change it, because everyone wants to rush to try to change it right away and start to input a new story. But we have to first bring awareness to these patterns so we can start to own that gap. Own that gap between stimulus and response. They say there's 6 seconds, and that's what we have to own. We have to own when that feeling comes into our body and it wants to pull us in a certain direction towards a certain behavior, or that feeling of anxiety builds up when you're on a sales call, or that feeling of stress, or not being able to engage with your family when you come home from work. Just notice it. What is it in your body? What's it trying to tell you? Just be aware of it. You don't have to go changing it right away. So what I always recommend to do is just simply create a list in your phone or in a journal, right? So you're thinking patterns throughout the day, certain emotions throughout the day, certain behaviors throughout the day. Which ones didn't serve you? So it might have been, your behaviors could be, for example, I was procrastinating, right? I spent 20 minutes on social media when I could have been using that to send out messages that could have generated leads from my business. When I came home from work, I wasn't able to actually be present with my wife and my kid because I was thinking about the emails, or I was thinking about the jobs I didn't get to, or what I have to do tomorrow. These are limiting patterns. These are things that keep us stuck. They're dysfunctional. You might think, yeah, but John, as a business owner, I have to take these things into account. You don't. When you're at home, be at home. Yes, maybe you have to jump and do some work from time to time when the kids go to bed, or at certain specific periods or places in the home. But can you create that space to be more intentional? What are the thinking patterns that held you back today? Was there certain narratives that you found yourself looping over and over? Was there certain emotions that you were experiencing that were heightened for you? Certain anxieties, stress, frustrations. And when did it happen for you? What triggered it? Bring more awareness to the pattern, because it's often when A happens, B and C happens. What's the system, or what's the structure within that? Or what's the strategy we run when we feel anxious? What's the strategy we run when we procrastinate and we go onto social media? And once we can start to understand this, it gives us a much better chance of changing it. So your challenge I want you to do today is to start to create a list. Create a list of your thinking patterns, feelings, and behaviors that are slowing you down. Do this for 7 days. Give it time. And what you're going to start to notice is if you keep a list for 7 days, now you're going to start to see the real patterns that are looping. Now you're going to see these thoughts have shown up every single day over the last 7 days. Look how I talk to myself. Look how I speak to myself behind the scenes. It's no wonder I'm sabotaging myself in my business. It's no wonder I'm not connected with my wife, or I can't communicate with my kids. It all starts with what's happening up here. And that is what this first phase is all about. So if you enjoyed this training, don't forget to hit subscribe. We're going to be coming at you with a lot more trainings over the couple of weeks, keeping them raw, keeping them original. Until next time, ascend higher.